Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today I have with me the Lenovo P360 Tiny. Well, a lot of enterprises and big companies love these tiny PCs, and for the very basic reason. It's tiny PC, so once the employee goes home, should not have a laptop, so that's a good option to save space and have enough power in a small space. So anyways, let me just open it up and share with you why everybody loves it, right? So what do we have here? That's probably the power adapter, probably keyboard and mouse, but let's check it out. So over here, yep, as we guessed it, power adapter, and I love these. I'm soon going to I'll connect it once the device will be outside, but basically instead of laying it like this is laying it like that. But anyways, just a second, we'll be there. Anyways, so it's probably a big power adapter. Yeah, big power adapter, which is, what is it here? A nice cable management, which in this case would be cool. And the power adapter, or however we want to call it, power brick, is 170 watts, which I thought it would be at this point 300 or maybe 230, but yeah, that's what we have. And I've missed this guy. That's the Wi-Fi antenna, which should, bring it up and have a better Wi-Fi. But for the thing that we've been waiting for this whole video, I've been waiting anyways, is the Lenovo 360 Mini. So here it is with all its might. It's really small. It's looking cool. It's looking really similar to last year. I think it was P350, right? But anyways, let's go over the ports. So we have aux, we have USB Gen 3.2 probably, another one, but this one has the battery indicator, which means this USB is available even though the PC is offline or shut down. It still gives power. The USB Type-C, which is only being used as a USB and not a Thunderbolt. Hard drive indicator or SSD indicator for these days. Power button. On the left, which looks like exactly on the right, some vents over here, some vents over here, but the part is on the back as usual. Here is the graphics card. I think it's the T400, but we love this PC and we know for sure. Anyways, 3 mini display ports. On the bottom, the Wi-Fi, which is where the antenna needs to connect to. I really like it when it's like that, when it's just looking plain gold, but that's probably just me. Ethernet port, 3 USBs, which one of them has like a keyboard indicator, which probably means that this USB is much less faster. HDMI, another USB which I just missed, this full display port, and power entrance where we put the power adapter for it to load. And here is the P350 from last year. So as we can see, on the front we have just one USB and one Type-C, while on the newer version we have additional USB. And the logo moved a little bit to the left. So on the back, this is a little bit of a different story. On the top we have a Wi-Fi. the bottom one didn't come with Wi-Fi, but it still have Wi-Fi card on board without the antenna, which makes it really bad at Wi-Fi, but still is working. Additionally, this one comes with T400, Quadro T400, and this one came with a T1000. And last thing that makes it different between both of them is that the lower one comes with an i9. I'll probably make another benchmark just for him, but because it has a really terrible Wi-Fi, that's going to take a while. But that's the main difference between last year and this year. Here it is, ready and connected to work. Now look how small it is. It's just taking no space on the table, and you have tiny PC. Everything works. But I would like to connect the this thing, which I don't know how to say it in English. So I figure out how it called, and it called vertical adapter, vertical stand adapter, which I used to have on my Mac actually, and it just makes everything even much more smaller. It looks good, it feels good, and we'll soon go back to the Windows and have everything checked up. And we're back. So about the CPU. When I got this PC, I was kind of, afraid of this CPU, the i7-12700T, because I couldn't find really enough information about it, what the T means. I know it's lower powered, I know it's something like that, but I really wanted numbers and I couldn't find good ones. So we'll benchmark it. But basically, this is a really lower voltage i7, which is probably even lower than a freaking laptop. It has, it runs on basic 1.4 gigahertz, which means, no speed. It has 12 cores, 20 logical processors, and it has L1 cache of 1 megabyte, L2 cache of 12 megabytes, and L3 cache of 25 megabytes. The RAM is just one DIMM, as you can see, of DDR5, which is on base clock of 4800. And for the SSD, this PC has the Samsung SSD MZVL2512H CJQ-00BL7. Always weird names. Because it's Samsung, it should be enough, but the benchmark will show us really soon how fast it is. And finally, the Nvidia T400, 4 gigabytes. This GPU should be good, it should be really fast, and the benchmarks will show how good it is. Before getting to the rest of the benchmarks, there is something really cool about this PC. Usually when there is a laptop, I'll go through the through the display port, through the display and the keyboard, and the trackpad. But because this is a tiny PC, which means it has no display, no keyboard, nothing, this one actually has speakers within it, and they're quite good, let me tell you that. So let's hear this song, which is Hips Jazz by Bensound.com from Benjamin Tizot. Let's hear it out, and you'll see how these speakers sound like. So that was the sound test. Sorry for all the background noises and stuff like that. It's just that I really tried, to move the PC and everything, but it just made everything complicated. So I just took the camera off the stand and, moved around. So I think the speakers that are on this tiny PC are quite good. They sound like exactly a fine laptop. I mean, not the best laptop, but not the worst laptop, because I've heard even worse speakers than that. So it's kind of amazing and nice of Lenovo to have those speakers with this PC. And now for the SSD's benchmark. I'm going to run it, and once it's done, we'll be back. And we're back. So the numbers are looking quite good for a workstation. Usually we'll be able to see those numbers at around those high-end Western Digital Black, Samsung Evo. So those are quite nice. Read speeds are at about 6700 and writes at about 5100. Usually I like to see SSDs at the even numbers, but yeah, those numbers are quite respectable. So if you are going to use this SSD, you are going to enjoy it. And now for the benchmarks that we all have been waiting for. Let's run the CPU benchmark and see those numbers. I want to see this CPU at work and see what it has to offer. So let me run it, and I'll be back once it's done. And we're back with the numbers. Single core is at 1700, which is quite on the lower side, but multi-core score is over 10,000. Sorry, I'm working on those big numbers to make my English even easier. So yeah, let me show you the rest of the numbers and we'll go through to the next benchmark. Sorry, I'm trying to make it even slower for you. Sorry, yeah, here it is. And now for the GPU's benchmark. Now this PC, as any other PC, has an onboard GPU which is part of the CPU, and there is the external graphics card, which this one has the T400 4GB. Now I'll run first the CODA test, because this one has ability to test just the Nvidia and not the Intel one. So we'll run it, and then I'll do the rest of the tests with any other GPU, like the motherboard one. And so let it run and be back. And we're back with the numbers, and the CODA score is 17,445. Let me show you the rest of the numbers. And now for the OpenCL GPU benchmark for the Nvidia T400. We'll be back once it's done. And we are back from the OpenCL benchmark, and it got 17,042. Let me show you the rest of the numbers. And now for the OpenCL GPU benchmark for the Intel UD Graphics 770, which is the onboard part of the CPU. Let me run it, and I'll be back once it's done. And we're back with the numbers. So the Intel got a lower than half of the score number, except for the Nvidia, which is understandable, but actually this number is quite nice, I think, and again respectable for an onboard GPU part of the CPU. Anyways, that's almost at 8300. Anyways, let me show you the rest of the numbers, and we'll go to the next test. And now for the Vulkan test for the Nvidia T400 benchmark. Let it run and I'll be back once it's done. 16,484. That's the score that the Nvidia got. But anyways, let's go through the numbers. And for the last test, the Vulkan GPU benchmark for the Intel UHD graphics 770. Let me run it and I'll be back once it's done. And we're back with the Vulkan score of 8208. So again, half of the Nvidia GPU, but that's okay. So let me show the rest on the numbers and we'll go to the next phase. So through the whole tests, the PC was really quiet, but I really had to check how the fan are working. And there is actually just one and maybe just one additional for the GPU. But anyways, I had to torture it and now you can hear it. So yeah, it could be a little bit loud, though previous version, the i9 that I have over here, was quite the loud guy. This one is much more quieter. So a few last words about the the ThinkStation P360 Tiny, which is its official name, Tiny. Overall, I did like the device. I mean, it showed us really good numbers. It's quite looking good and everything about it. But I do have a few downsides about this device. So if you saw the previous video, you saw that we have over here the Intel NUC. Now the Intel NUC is almost, I would say, half the size of it, maybe a little bit more wide, but weight size, it just eats it. I just can put it in my hand and it weighs nothing. Now this guy weighs a lot. I have to take my hand and everything, so it's quite on the heavy side. This is one of the few things, downsides that I have to say about this device. It's both bigger and heavier. I mean, if you are into numbers and you like having powerful CPU and GPU, fine, and it's probably better for you than the Intel NUC. There are better options from the Intel NUC, but yeah. Another downside that needs to be taken, a weight of think about before buying this device is that it has no Thunderbolt by default. I mean, yeah, there is this USB Type-C, but it's just for mass storage, stuff like that, maybe mouse, but you cannot connect an external docking station, stuff like that. You're quite limited on the side when it comes to Thunderbolt. While this guy has everything, including 2 Thunderbolts. Another thing that needs to be considered is that the graphics card has just mini display ports. So if you are going to you want to get out the juice of it and work with it, then you are going to need an adapter or something like that, and it's kind of limited having those little adapters on it. 2 last things to consider, the downsides of the Tiny. First of all, the Wi-Fi does not come by default. Okay, it does not come by default, and it's quite the bad thing, because this PC came to me and I couldn't figure out a way to get a Wi-Fi adapter. I mean, I had a Wi-Fi adapter on board, but it's locked out here, so you cannot use the Wi-Fi. And the vertical stand also isn't coming by default. So if you are buying this device, make sure, double make sure that you have both the Wi-Fi and the vertical adapter. And now for the plus size. Well, this device comes from the ThinkStation line, which means it's reliable, you have support, you have, how you're calling it, a mother and a father if you have a problem. Well, that's the case with ThinkPad. The warranty can be extended up to 5 years on site. You have additional GPUs, you have more options, even more options than on this channel. And that's kind of an adaptive kind of a PC if you go through and buy something like that. And of course it has many ports for many displays, many USBs. Well, you have the whole package. Now about the price. This device can come up to, I think, $4,000 if you got it for the most upgraded with the i9 and everything around it, all the whistle and bells. But this version cost me a little less than, I think, $1,800, which is quite nice. It's about the price of a laptop, but it gives you more ports. It gives you the powerful GPU, and it's really slow, and it's really tiny. I mean, look how small it is. So what do you think about the ThinkStation P360 Tiny? Actually, I think it's quite cool. I think it's I think that if you need the powerhouse, and if you need the ports, and if you need the reliability, and you need the GPU, and you need the workstation, then this is what it's meant to be. And of course you need space. If you don't need space, you can just buy playing all good full tower. Anyways, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions about the tinies, do let me know, and see you on another one. Thank you. Have a nice evening.